Hi, Linda. Can you hear me? Hi. So sorry for the delay. How are you today? Oh, you are muted.
Oh,
There we go.
all right.
Perfect. How are you? How was camping? How's your voice feeling?
Camping was fine. It was a little bit hot last weekend.
I bet.
Muggy,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Right.
and my voice feels fine. But how are
Good.
you?
Oh, much better, much better. Yeah,
Okay,
it was
good.
a big uh a big thing to recover from for sure. But
Did you have to have
it's
a
much better.
C-section or
Yeah, I did. I
uh
went in just for a regular appointment, and they said, "Your blood pressure's pretty high. We need to go do some more tests." And then they were like, "Surprise, we're inducing labor." And then 3 days later, they were like, "Yeah, we have to do a C-section." So
oh boy.
it
Okay.
was it was a lot, but fortunately, um, my mom and my husband have been really helpful, and
Oh
a neighbor's
good.
been helping a little bit too. So yeah,
Good.
it's been good. Yeah.
And your little one is okay?
Oh yeah, he's great. He's been healthy the whole
Yeah.
time. I was the one that had the preeclampsia and stuff, but he's good.
Yay. Okay.
Yeah, he's
Good.
been healthy and good.
Fantastic. Well, I've been
Yeah.
praying for you,
Oh,
so
thank you. I
I'm glad to
appreciate
hear
that.
that. Yeah, all good
So
news.
tell me a little bit more about the song you've been working on. I know you
Sure.
said you're doing it tomorrow, so
Yes.
it's very exciting. So you've been working on that on your own. I'm very excited to hear it.
Yes.
Yeah, so tell me how working on the new song has been going.
It's been going pretty well. I've been doing the best I can with it without your feedback, and
Oh,
I think I'm pretty ready to go. So I
great. That's
just
awesome.
love some final thoughts. It came up
Yeah.
like right after our last lesson. I think the day after one of the worship leaders, I had asked if any of the worship leaders had any requests,
Yeah.
and he came to me with this song because he likes it a lot. So
Aw.
not one I ever would have chosen. It's a little bit
Oh.
low for me and just a
Okay.
different style, but
Sure.
I was happy to say yes to that for him. So,
Yeah. Oh, that's neat though.
okay.
It's kind of, I feel like it's kind of special when you get a request like that people
Right.
say, "Hey, I'd love to hear you sing this."
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
a pretty special thing because, like you're saying, too, you wouldn't have chosen it for yourself, but sometimes other
Uh-huh.
people hear something in your voice that you don't.
Mm-hmm.
They see something in you that you wouldn't have seen. And then also, it can be a really good challenge to stretch yourself
Yes.
a little bit. But also, it's very flattering to have someone say, "Oh, I would love to hear this song in your
Oh,
voice. It
yeah.
would sound really beautiful." I always think that's really flattering to have that happen. So
Yes.
that's really sweet.
Yes. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So,
And it sounds like,
okay.
too, that they, um, probably fit it in where it works well with the services and things, too. So I know that if they're, planning music for the services, that they probably have, an idea of where it'll fit well. And so
Sure.
it sounds like it's an exciting new challenge for you, but it'll also be a big
Yeah.
blessing for them. So I'm excited to hear it. Um,
Okay.
Anything that's been especially difficult for you, and anything that you feel like you're especially proud of yourself for on this song?
Um, well, with the latter, I think I'm doing pretty well with the lower notes.
Oh, great.
And yeah. Initially, I was had a little bit of trouble with some of the transition into the
Okay.
more mid-range, a
Sure.
little bit of the higher range. But
Yeah.
I think I've improved um,
Good.
on that.
Yeah, I know you're
This.
sweet spot is more that like heady mix, more into the head voice
Yeah,
is your favorite. So this
right.
challenges you on the opposite spectrum of where your voice usually is resting in your songs. So it's, I think, probably a good challenge. It sounds like, that transition into the mix from the chest voice was a little bit challenging, but it sounds like you've done a lot of work on that. So I'm excited to
Uh-huh.
hear where that is at now.
I didn't know how much. I mean, I've listened to the artists that he particularly likes do it.
Yeah.
But what I'm not sure if I've got the right mix of, more speech-like or straight tone and
Okay.
more of the bravado, but I've done the best I
Yeah.
can. So,
Yeah. So you've done some listening and then trying to kind of base your choices off of what you've, heard in the artist. Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
Awesome.
and what
Yeah.
I'm best at too. So,
Have you warmed up and sung today already? Do you want to dive right into the
yes.
song? Okay.
Yes.
Great. Yeah. So why don't you go
Okay.
ahead and sing it for me? We'll see where it's at and we'll go
All
from
right.
there.
Let me pull up the track here. I gotta open my phone. There we go. Otherwise, it's ready. An anchor for those who are hurting. We're a harbor for those who are lost. Sometimes it's not always easy bearing Calvary's cross. We've been ridiculed by those who don't know him, mocked by those who don't believe. Still, I love standing up for my Jesus, given all that he's done for me. That's why I'm not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ. No, I am not afraid to be counted, but I'm willing to give my life to be all he wants me to be. Give up the wrong for love. No, I'm not ashamed of the gospel. No, I am not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ. Every moment his hand has held mercy for all the love that he's shown all my life. A simple thing wouldn't say how I'm feeling. I get tears in my eyes. As for me, I'm gonna keep on believing in the one who's been faithful to me. I'm not to please this whole world around me. I've got my eyes on eternity. That's why I'm not ashamed of the gospel. gospel of Jesus Christ. No, I am not afraid to be counted, but I'm willing to give my life. See, I'm ready to be all He wants me to be. Give up the one. No, I am not ashamed of the gospel. No, I am not ashamed of the gospel. Jesus Christ. No, I am not ashamed of the gospel. No, I am not ashamed of the gospel. I've got too much behind me to let this world bind me. To some he's a name, but to me he's my everything. I am not ashamed of the gospel. No, I am not ashamed of the gospel. No, I am not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Oh, wonderful. I hear some really good progress. And
Thank
yeah, it
you.
definitely is a different style than you've worked on previously. So it's
Yeah,
kind of exciting, though. It's a good challenge, like we were talking
yeah,
about. Oh, you've made
yeah,
some really good progress already. So yeah, I do have some comments on things that, you can
absolutely.
do that'll make it even better for tomorrow. But I think
Yeah.
that honestly, if you did it just like that, I still think it would be a huge blessing. And honestly, it sounds beautiful. So,
Oh,
what
great,
you've done with
great.
it, you've done really good work. So, we're just going to polish it even more, but really
Awesome.
beautiful. So, tell me, what was maybe the number one thing that you felt good about with that sing through?
Um, I feel like I've this week kind of figured out more of the dynamics, like when it should be
Yeah.
softer and louder.
Yeah, I was going
So,
to comment on that. Yeah, really
yeah.
nice shift from this softer, quiet, more personal place to this more like it's this quiet testimony and it builds into this really powerful, belty driven, like declaration feeling.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, it has a really nice build there and it gives you room to, start with a different style a little bit with your vocals and then build to that much more intense projecting full volume there. Beautiful. Yeah, so I would say too, you've got these high soaring notes that are more in that like heady mix place.
Uh-huh.
Um, and then, I really can hear the work you've done to really anchor those like rich, warm midtones. Um, so a lot of good work there. One thing I would say, um, especially when you have those higher notes, those
Mm-hmm.
really soaring, like held notes, make sure you're dropping your jaw open
Okay.
anymore. So one little trick you can use is try to use at least two fingers wide, so you can actually check and be like, how open am I? And if you think of, I want to be able to fit at least two fingers into my mouth on those notes,
Okay.
that's a way you can kind of check yourself, so that we get this beautiful resonance and projection that'll help with that. Um,
Okay.
I so I think you are doing a good job with increasing your air volume for the climax of the song. Where do you think the biggest peak is of the song?
At the end, and I don't know if you call that the bridge or whatever, but
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Yeah,
I've got
yeah.
too
So
much
that's
behind me to let this world bind me.
yes, that's
That
going to
part.
be your biggest moment. So I think you can
Yeah.
just really like free voice there. Just really open up, send that air, open your jaw, and just really let that ring out in that space. So don't hold anything back there. Just let it send it. Yeah. Um,
Uh-huh.
so yeah, I think that can be a little more like reckless feeling. um, Make sure you're keeping your shoulders back all the time,
Okay.
and that we don't ever like cave in here. So just watch for that. Keep that rib
Okay.
cage lifted and open, especially in the really big projected section, and keep the shoulders back and this sternum and clavicle lifted and open the whole time. Um, so Maybe let's start by going more towards the bridge. Maybe we can start right before the bridge with the music, and let's sing through that section and just really work on that really powerful projected spot. Because I feel like you can lean more into the technique that you're more used to using there. Like I think you can have more vibrato in that section and just really
Do you
sing
think?
out. Yeah, for that
Okay.
part, I think that it can just be very free. So
All
more
right.
open in the jaw, powerful breath, lifting that rib cage, staying really open in your chest area here. Yeah.
I'm not sure if I can find that exact spot, but
Oh, that's okay. So why don't we go ahead and start back at the beginning then? We'll do the whole
okay.
thing and think about the gradual like building of the song because it should start more like intimate feeling. So think a little more speech like there at the start. And then that volume building and building and building, and it's just gonna keep building throughout the song. Yeah.
Okay.
I think you also can think about putting a little more vocal weight um, when you've got words like power and gospel, those really like important words to emphasize. Yeah,
Okay.
great.
I'm just writing all this down.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. An anchor for those who are hurt, we're a harbor for those who are lost. Sometimes it's not always easy. Bearing Calvary's cross, we've been ridiculed by those who don't know him, and mocked by those who don't believe. I love standing up for my Jesus, 'cause of all that he's done for me. That's why I'm not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ. No, I'm not afraid to be counted but I'm willing to give my life. See, I'm ready to be all He wants me to be. Give up for the fight. No, I'm not ashamed of the gospel. No, I am not ashamed of the gospel. Jesus Christ. The moment His hand has held mercy for all the love that He's shown all my life. Simple things wouldn't say how I feel. I get tears in my eyes. But as for me, I'm gonna keep on believing in the one who's been so faithful to me. Now to please this whole world around me, I've got my eyes on eternity. That's why I am not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ. No, I am not afraid to be counted, but I'm willing to give my life. We are ready to be all He wants to be. Give up the for the right. No, I am not ashamed of the gospel. No, I am not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ. No, I am not ashamed of the gospel. No, I am not ashamed of the gospel. Jesus, too much behind me to let this world bind me. To some He's unnamed, but to me He's my everything. I am not ashamed of the gospel. No, I am not ashamed of the gospel. No, I am not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Nice. All right. Definitely heard some improvement there. What did you like best about it? What felt good there?
The shoulders back, I think, especially was good.
Yeah, that helped a lot with having that more full sound.
Hmm.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good. I'm glad to hear that you could feel that shift and change there. Beautiful. Um,
Hmm.
okay, so a couple thoughts here. I
Yeah.
loved the end and the build there. Um, so one thing that I was thinking about, transitioning from having that more classical soprano to more of a gospel belt style, um, changing the shape of the vowels a little bit. With classical, you're going to have more of that lifted, soft palate, a lot of head resonance. For gospel, we needed a little more speech like. We need that forward placement, bringing that chest voice in for a more powerful mix. So, how do we do those things, right? So, for classical, we're using more tall, rounded vowels, like oh, kind of a shape, right? In gospel, we're going to have wider, brighter, and more speech like vowels. One thing I want you to think about is flattening your tongue. So you're going to think about keeping your tongue more flat and forward. So instead of having it be like, oh, where it's more like lifted towards the back and a lifted palate in the back, we're going to think keeping that back of the tongue more flat and push the tongue more forward. And then we're going to think about brightening that tone. So make a slight smile shape. And it's a joyous song, right? So we can smile here. So you're going to have a little bit of a slight smile. And then that's going to help bring the sound out of this back space and into more of the mask of the face. So the vibrations focusing more in the front. And we're going to think about more vibrating like right into here, especially in the lower. Think about focusing the air right here in your cheekbones. And then when you're higher, focus on vibrating the air more in this forehead space. Your high vowels, we're going to think a little bit brighter. So like power is going to want to go more like power, more back, but we're going to think more power. Think like power.
Power.
So, yeah, brightening on those tall vowels, bring those a little more forward. So think about instead of lifting here, think about lifting more into that notch where the soft palate connects to the hard palate. So we're going to think about that little spot where you're thinking about lifting the palate more forward. You're kind of angling this way. So could we try singing through it again with some of those thoughts? Just to adjust a little bit. Yeah.
All right. I'm just looking
It's
at
okay. Yeah.
Okay. Sure, if I can do it, we'll try. We're thankful for those who are hurt. We're humble for those who are lost. Sometimes it's not always easy. Bearing Calvary's cross. We've been ridiculed by those who don't know Him, and mocked by those who don't believe. I love standing up for my Jesus, giving all that He's done for me. But I'm not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ. No, I'm not afraid to be counted, but I'm willing to give my love. See, I'm to be all He wants me to be. Give up for the right. No, I'm not ashamed of the gospel No, I'm not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ. Every moment his hand has held mercy for all the love that he's shown all my life. A simple thing wouldn't say how I'm feeling. I get tears in my eyes. As for me, I'm gonna keep on believing in the one who's been so faithful to me. Not out to please this whole world around me. I've got my eyes on eternity. That's why I am not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ. No, I am not afraid to be counted, but I'm willing to give my love beyond to take all he wants to see. Give up the right. No, I am not ashamed of the gospel. No, I am not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ. No, I am not ashamed of the gospel. No, I am not ashamed of the gospel. I've got too much behind me to let this world bind me to some things I name, but to me it's my everything. I am not ashamed of the gospel. No, I am not ashamed of the gospel. No, I am not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ.
All right, awesome. So, what felt different there?
I think it's especially of the things you said, able to think about keeping my tongue more forward. So whenever I
Yeah.
remembered, I thought about that.
Good. I'm so glad that helped.
The other
Good.
things I just don't know. I'd have to work more probably.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah. It
Yeah.
already had, I mean, right from the beginning, I could hear the change that you made. So that's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
beautiful. Like right from where you started, I was like, oh wow, I could already hear the shift in the shapes.
In the right way, in the
Beautiful.
right direction.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Um, so another thing to consider is that, with classical music, um, we often bring that head voice down further. And in here, that opening, we really want it to be really grounded in the chest resonance. So don't be afraid to lean fully into that chest voice feeling. It doesn't have to be mixed there at all. It can be full chest voice. So give me let's do a ha ha ha.
Ha ha ha.
Yeah, you feel that? Good. Give me a big sigh down into it. Ah.
Ha ha.
Yeah, good. So, what is that first line that you sing? What are the words there?
We're an anchor for those who are hurting.
Good. Yeah. So, just think about how you say that. We're an anchor for those who are hurting. We're an anchor for those who are hurting. So you just
Uh-huh.
start with more of that speech like feeling, right? So
Uh-huh.
try just speaking that line and then just sing it a cappella, but sing it with that kind of flavor of the spoken words.
Okay. We're an anchor for those who are hurting. We're an
Yep.
anchor for those who are hurting.
Yeah, already better, right? Yes,
Okay.
good. So if we think about how would I just say this, and we try to singing the differences that we sustain, right? So if you think about how would I speak it, and then I just have to put it on the pitches and sustain a little bit longer. You're an anchor for those who are hurting. You're an anchor for those who are hurting. I put it on the pitch and I sustain a little bit longer, right? Another
Mm-hmm.
thing I want you to think about is adding a little bit of twang. So we're going to narrow a little bit. Think of that tube that the air flows through, narrow that a little bit, that space just above the folds, your epilarynx, so just above here. And let's try just sing through a cappella that verse on nay, 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 and think really bratty. So nay, 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 nay. Just go ahead and sing through that first verse a cappella on nay, nay, nay.
Nay, 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 nay. Nay, 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 nay. Nay, 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 nay. Nay, 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 nay. Nay, 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 nay. Nay, 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 nay. Nay, 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 nay. Nay, 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 nay. So that's the verse.
Good. Yes. Excellent. Good. All right. So, just another note, try to avoid over singing in these lower sections, in the low notes. That's going to help you to not strain your throat. It's also, though, going to help with getting that sound that we expect. And trust the microphone. So, you're going to have a microphone and it's meant to help here. Um, so, when you go into that more compressed mix, you transition from that low chest into the high climax. We don't want it to flip into that classical head voice, right? So, mixing, and you're already doing a good job with that. But occasionally I hear you kind of leaning, a little more towards like head voice dominant. So try to kind of cry into the note. Use this kind of like slight whimpery or crying sensation to keep your vocal folds tightly like zipped together as you go higher. So like think of that nay, the nay, 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 and then nay, nay. Try to kind of like slide into it. And think of kind of keeping more pressure on the vocal fold closure. So like nay, nay. Try to feel like you keep it as tight as you can as you slide up, and your body's going to
Okay.
tell you if it's too much. So you keep it as pressurized as you can. If I try to keep the same pressure as I go up, my body's like, oh, I don't like that so much. So we have to play with how much do we want? So try going like nay and try to slide up through it and try to keep as much pressure as you can on the vocal fold closure so we keep that same kind of timbre,
Okay.
but where we don't ever lose that smooth feeling. So try sliding on nay from the low up.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Mhm. Ah.
Yeah, so just kind of sliding and
Yeah.
just experimenting with that. So try to let that be kind of free.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah, you feel the difference, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Um, and then another thing you can think about is narrowing the vowels a little bit, especially as you're climbing into the highest notes of the chorus. You're going to narrow those wider vowels slightly. So, like gospel, think more like gospel instead, to keep the air from blowing the vocal cords more open. Instead of gospel, think gospel. We're going to think like more narrowed. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And also try to think about earlier in the song, minimize the vibrato. So keep those sustained notes more straight tone, more like laser focused with the airflow. Um, and then try to think about like a crescendo, how it the note kind of blossoms as you sustain. Allow the vibrato to kind of blossom through it. So the gospel, think of more straight tone and then adding in the vibrato as you sustain, and then it kind of blossoms at the end of the note more. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so try for me just the beginning of the song, that first verse into that first chorus, and try some of these techniques.
Okay.
You're doing great with these adjustments. Everything I've given you,
I'm
you've
trying.
changed. It's yeah, you're sounding great.
Okay. All right. You want me to sing a cappella or
Go ahead
you
with the
know?
track. Yeah, let's do the
Okay.
first verse and chorus.
An anchor for those who are hurting. We're a home for those who are lost. Sometimes it's not always easy bearing Calvary's cross. We've been ridiculed by those who don't know him, mocked by those who don't believe. Still, I love standing up for my Jesus, giving all that he's done for me. That's why I'm not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ. No, I'm not afraid to be counted, but I'm willing to give my life. See, I'm ready to be all he wants me to be. Give up the world for the world. No, I am not ashamed of the gospel. No, I am not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ. Is that any better?
Yes, Yes, yes.
Okay.
I heard so many of those adjustments. That was
Okay.
beautiful. Very nice. Yes, it's sounding a lot more like stylistically solid, I would say, and
Okay,
consistent.
good.
Yeah, yeah. So another thing you can think about is adjusting your breathing a little bit. In classical singing, we rely on these really large, deep, slow releasing breaths. Here, with this gospely mix, it requires a higher breath pressure but less air volume. So more pressure on the vocal fold
Oh, what does
closure.
that mean?
Yeah, so you're going to have more pressure here, less quantity of air because it's
Uh,
flowing through more slowly, and there's this higher pressure here. Um, so we're not going to push as big of an amount of air through your throat as fast. That helps cause that more like hooty classical sound, that like whoo whoo kind of sound. What we're going to do instead is kind of feel like you have more pressure, and that's going to slow down the airflow. You're also going to really engage that core, push down firmly with your lower abdominal muscles to create this like physical resistance. So think about like where you wear a belt, and think about really like pushing and expanding into where you would have that belt pressure. And that can be actually all the way around. Think about kind of feeling this like opening where you would wear a belt, like lower around your hips. Um, so yeah, I think I just one time heard a tiny wobble, but honestly, I don't think the audience really would notice that. Like, did you feel as you were transitioning up just a teeny tiny little
yep, sure
like
did.
breath wobble
Yeah,
there?
yeah.
And that was just the muscles trying to switch back to what they are more used to doing. But you made the adjustment. It was beautiful. It sounded great. So I'm curious, what did you feel like was most effective or helpful for you?
This last time?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I don't know. Oh, I was really, I thought that about the Gusable thing, Gusable.
Yes,
And
yeah, I noticed that, and I don't think
yeah,
anyone else would hear the difference. It just is
okay.
an altering of the shape a bit. Yeah, that sounded great.
And I was trying. I don't think I got it consistently, but to minimize the bravado early in a note and allow it to build.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good. Yes,
Okay.
yeah, that it's like a crescendo, right? It starts minimal and then it gradually blossoms wider and wider and wider until you have a more full vibrato at the end of the sustained note. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Loved that. Yes, it sounded great. Yeah, so what do you think between now and tomorrow would be most helpful to you in preparing?
I'm not sure how much more I should sing because like
Yeah,
today, because
right.
I've sang a lot already and I don't want to strain anything
Right. You don't want to be too
going into
fatigued.
tomorrow. So I just maybe, tomorrow morning look over these notes and
Yeah.
try to warm up on my way to church and
Okay.
it's a little in between Sunday school and church a little bit as much as
Love
I
it.
can. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. I think that sounds great. That sounds like a good plan. Yeah. So the thing is, even if you sing it exactly like you did at the start of the session, it still is going to be beautiful. They're going to love it.
Okay.
And, those little tweaks, they're just adjusting the style, but you sound
Yeah.
gorgeous either way. So, what we did today is just helping you to really lean more into this different style. Um, because people like the Gaithers have sung it, so it's
Right.
just a different
If
feeling than,
if you and I had more time to work on it, it would be even more like that, I'm
yeah,
sure.
and that's okay. Yeah, I think it
Yeah.
it really
Yeah.
was beautiful the first time. So we're just adjusting the style. Um,
Okay.
but if you get there tomorrow, I think that the most important thing, on the day that you share the song is really just being emotionally connected. And so
Hmm.
if you get there tomorrow and you're emotionally connected and you default back, it's totally okay. So, and we can always work on more songs that you can use these techniques in the future. So for today, I agree. I think, letting your voice have some rest, and then tomorrow, just try to really emotionally connect and enjoy sharing the song. It's going to be beautiful. I love the work you did today. If you pick, one or two things that you want to try to implement tomorrow, I think that's great. And then,
Okay.
we've worked on quite a few ideas. So, it's
Yeah.
too much to think about all at once. So don't put
Right.
too much pressure on yourself. Enjoy the process and the growth. You sound beautiful. You did really lovely work on it on your own. And I love hearing you do this new style and stretch yourself in that way. So keep up the good work. Let me know how it
All
goes
right.
tomorrow. And
Okay.
I'm excited to see you next week.
All right. Awesome.
All
I'll
right.
see you
Bye,
next week.
Linda. Have a
Bye.
wonderful weekend
You
and
too.
good luck tomorrow.
Okay.
Bye
Thank you. Bye.
bye.